Hey guys, it's Rich. Sorry about the lighting. I'm just too lazy to fix it right now. But I actually wanted to talk a little bit more about hatred. And excuse any little stumbling that I'm doing in this video. It's actually the 4-year anniversary of my uncle's suicide, and I decided to have a little bit of Crown Royal in his memory, which was one of the drinks that he enjoyed. So if I stumble in this, I'm not really that tipsy, but I recently posted a Facebook post that was actually part of my Christian Wiccan Coven from spellsofmagic.com, and it was one of my coven mates that posted it up on Facebook, and I copied and pasted it to my page, which I rarely ever do. I don't post things unless I really want people to know what's going on in my life, because I just don't see the fucking point. And I put, I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me unplug the... I don't know how well you can see it, but it says, "This is my bubble. Please don't burst my bubble. Don't even look at my bubble. Go find your own bubble. And if the F asterisk CK up fairy asks," meaning fuck up fairy, asks, don't, I don't have one. And that has a little face with the tongue sticking out, yeah. I thought it was clever, I thought it was cute, so I posted it. Whatever. You know, people were joking and laughing around and everything. One of my cousins posts, "You wanted to be a preacher and you have offensive words in your posts?" And little odd fact that I don't think I've ever shared before is, yes, I wanted to be a pastor one day because I actually have this urge to help people spiritually and emotionally, and that's more of the aspect that I was going for if I were to become a pastor. But now that I am on this path, I am an ordained minister with Universal Life Church, and probably not going to actually have my own church. But hey, if I do, great. If I don't, oh well. Still enables me to counsel people, help people, and have the full confidentiality from people. And I can also do weddings, funerals, and exorcisms. So that's kind of freaking awesome. But yeah, he posts that, and then I said, "It has an asterisk in it as to not use actual words." My pastor's wife from back home, she posts, "Sorry to see you post something like this, Rich. It's not a good reflection on the Savior who died for you." And at that time I was actually asleep, so I went a little time without posting. My friend Kelly, who has actually been begging me to include her in a video by actually saying her name, she posts, "Wow, apparently a lack of sense of humor and censorship are two more self-appointed Christian values. Whatever happened to let he who is without sin cast the first stone, guilt-tripping hypocrites?" Now, whether or not that was the best thing to say to them, you know, and she is a pagan, and whether or not that was the best thing to say to them, I don't know. Maybe it rattled their cage a little too much, but I said, you know what, you have the freedom of speech. I'm going to leave it on there as long as if you don't remove it, because it's true. It is true. But then I posted, while I respect the opinions of others, I've learned in the last 5.5 years, meaning being in the military pretty much, actually being in the military, being out of school, that type of thing, all encompassed, that you don't have to live to the cookie cutter ideas of doctrine, and sometimes the radical ideas and actions of Christians will bring people to Christ more than the thou shalt nots. Look at the examples in history with Martin Luther, for one, who would sit in a tavern and discuss religion over a pint. There was one time that Christians said we should not be in association with people of the African ethnicity. Are we still to hold to those ideals, or should we accept some radical ideas and actually make a difference in people's lives and that might bring them to Christ? Speaking to them, because I'm not out of the broom closet. As if you guys have followed my channel, you probably knew from one of my earlier videos. I think it was like maybe the 4th video I made or something like that. But I'm not out of the broom closet, so I mean I have to talk to them as if I'm still a full-blown Christian and don't have a Wiccan or pagan influence at all. So then we go on and on and on, and a couple of my friends and I, we were joking and all that, saying that we're all gonna get little bubble apartments and everything, and because you're not allowed to share my bubble, and I won't burst your bubble, all that stuff. It all goes back to the original comment or the original post. And then my cousin reposts. He says, "Rich, you can rationalize anything, even murder. My only point is that you have professed to know Jesus as your Lord and Savior, and that comment does not conform to the young man I once knew. We as Christians are to set ourselves apart. If people see no difference in you than that of a person in a bar that is cussing up a storm, then they see no need to change. If I am considered a hypocrite for stating this to a family friend, then I will accept the label." And he said this is my last comment on the matter. And then my friend Kelly again, she puts, she said a little something funny, which goes to some of the posts before, and says, "What does it matter if someone has accepted Jesus as their Savior and they use language deemed as foul? Does that make them any less faithful? How does judging him reflect on you as a Christian? I thought the only one to judge was God and at the end of days." And then I post, because while she was posting that, I was actually thinking of what to post next. And I go into a pretty long stanza here. And I put, "All I was saying is that sometimes people need to change with the times. Just like the law, it has to adapt to new statutes and ideas. It isn't always black and white. Some people will see a man sitting at a bar that intelligently talks of Christ but enjoys the fruit of the vine on occasion. The so-called cuss word is something rarely seen in my Facebook postings." Oh, excuse me. "Because I know that I don't only represent myself, but I also represent my religion and my country as being a member of the military. I think that if you don't go into a bar at times and get your hands dirty, as Christ well did, by meeting people on their level, then you can't relate to them, and you can't relate to them, then you can't relate to them, and if you can't relate to them, then you seem like that person on the high horse that thinks they're better than everyone. If you are so much better than them, they will feel belittled and won't be at all susceptible to your message of loving your God with all your heart and your neighbor as yourself, and loving your neighbor as yourself. In the end, I realized that yes, I will be judged by God and I will have to answer for my sins, but I have made a difference in people's lives that might bring them closer to God I will accept those sins as a necessary risk, as I accept the risks of any warfare. And when it all comes down to it, isn't it Christ's blood that saves me, and not the amount of sins that I haven't done that gets me into heaven? If so, there are many more Christians out there in way more trouble than I am. The path to God isn't clear cut. There are winding roads that many of the apostles even went down, and even if they don't, or even if, and if they didn't go down those paths, then they wouldn't have brought people to Christ. It is all part of the bigger picture. Always worrying about whether or not I am going to be accepted by other Christians gets in the way of the view of the road that I am on, and therefore takes me in, or makes me incapable where I'm going and where God is leading me. I therefore must sometimes cast away the views that others hold against me and get the mission that God has me doing done. So, I just wanted to share that with you guys, because it really kind of made me angry that not only family, but also my pastor's wife, which is was a pretty good friend, especially whenever I was home. We all got along whenever I followed their ideals, but now that I'm so-called sinning by even putting in *CK in a post, then yeah, I don't know what to think of it. And I found myself so full of anger whenever I came home that I actually had to ground and center, because I had so much energy building up within me, and it was actually kind of horrible. I told a friend of mine, Carol, I said, and she owns the local witchy shop, I told Carol, I said, you know what, I have to ground and center, because otherwise I'm going to give myself a massive headache. So I did that, and it was all good, and I'm all fine now. And let me tell you, Annie, if you're watching this, the yawning, I think it was called The Art of Yawning with Ernie, that, like I put on your in your comment section, that yeah, that made my day after the day that I had. Yeah, and I'm stumbling in my speech, and that has nothing to do with the alcohol, I swear. But I'm going to try to do some daily vlog things and try to get more up, on a regular basis, because I've actually been wanting to do videos where it's just random vlogs and everything. So yeah, consider this one of hopefully many to come. And maybe I'll drink before more of them, so then I'm a little bit more loosey-goosey. A lot of times I'm more scripted out and everything, and I know what I'm going to say and all that stuff. So maybe I'll drink before more of them, and have a lot more interesting YouTube videos. So until next time, my friends on YouTube, which for some reason keep on watching my videos, may your ancestors be with you. Bye.